glasses. So, this is going to be kind of part personal testimony and part practical details, which on my best days is where I live in general, I think. So, first of all, okay. I just want to talk about how I kind of got involved in all this. So I went on my first work week when I was a freshman in college. It was a Habitat work week, and I went because there were some motivations that all kind of came together for me. First of all, I wanted to go somewhere over spring break. I wasn't really the party in Pensacola kind of girl. I like to do service and I like to build stuff. I took shop in high school, so I know how to use a hammer. Okay. The house I was living in was hosting sponsoring some trips to various cities around the United States for Habitat for Humanity. And some of my friends were going. And I had no money, right? So in fact, that money thing was such a motivator that when I found out I actually had to also pay to volunteer my time, I was kind of like, what? But at that point I had already signed up and I was kind of committed, so I just was like, okay, I'll just work some extra hours in the summer or something to make up for it. I don't know. But anyway, it happened. I went, and when I went, I found out that, first of all, if I were just analyzing the trip in terms of cost-benefit analysis in a very worldly way, what did I get for my money? I would have paid way more, right? Because I got, I learned practical things. I knew how to use a hammer, but I didn't know how to hammer in 16 penny nails for framing. That was difficult. My arm was really sore. But I learned how, and I learned how to not choke up on the hammer and all that good stuff. So I learned practical skills like that. I think another thing you learn on the trips is how to live in community with people. Now I was already living in community with 29 other girls in my house, so I kind of had that pretty well down, but still, you're in a lot closer quarters, so there were still some challenges of that. I got to be with my friends. I got to have fun, right? I got to just be blessed in unexpected ways. And every trip is different in those terms. But anyway, the point is, and this is important, I also was able to invite along some friends who were not Christians. And these trips, are the best witness ever. Really. You're, showing the love of Christ, his hands and feet right there. It's, not even a metaphor. It's just you're doing it, right? So that was a big thing too, and I'm sure there were others. I'm not going to give a complete list, but there were lots of benefits that I received, blessings that I received for that money, right? So just in those terms, wow, it was so worth it. But also that was 18-year-old me, right? I don't know when this kind of I don't know if I realized this back then, but I can tell you where I am now at 47. I realize that giving that money, in addition to giving that time and energy and all the other things, that's an opportunity to give sacrificially, right? And at our best, we're motivated by love to give sacrificially, love of Jesus, right? We love Jesus, so we give. We love his people, so we give, right? I just listed for you my motivations, right? I'm so thankful that Jesus works through other worldly motivations to get us to do the things we're supposed to do, right? Because that's what happened when I was 18. And it worked so well, he got me hooked, because I went the next 3 years, too, on different trips. I went to Augusta, Georgia the first year. Oh, and that was another benefit. I got to go somewhere, right? Yeah. I went to Augusta, Georgia one year. I went to Fort Worth, I think, twice. I went to Loveland, Colorado, and on that trip, Chris also came along. We were dating at the time, so that was how I knew he was good stuff, right? And they just continued to be a blessing to me and an opportunity for me to bless other people, right? Which is a blessing in itself. So much so that when Cornerstone started hosting trips, and at that time Harmony was 2 and Nico was 6, and I thought, what could be more fun and productive than taking a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old on a work trip? But you know what? It was, like, unbelievably productive. Not in terms of, like, we were not the fastest house builders ever. No, definitely not. It was not productive in those terms, but for me personally, these trips have continued to, like, mature me as a Christian, challenge me. If you ever think like you're getting to be a pretty decent person, you should, like, go live in community with people for a week and find out your weaknesses once again. It's a good way to remind you. So there are challenges like that too, but also for our kids, like I can barely talk about this, like, without breaking down, but just how meaningful these trips have been to our kids. Harmony gave a testimony a couple years ago about how much, not just about the trip, but the trip factored into her testimony about how she had, come to know Jesus, basically, right? And I've heard, I don't want to put words in Nico's mouth, but he has said on the trips how meaningful they are to him. There you go. He can use his own words. And I just think it's been so formative for them too. So not just me, but for them too. And they have invited friends on trips, some of whom are not Christians. And so there we get that witness again, So anyway, that's just kind of my story of my involvement in work weeks and what it's meant to me and my kids. And I'm sure that other people who have been on these kinds of trips would tell you similar stories, but I'm just telling my own story. So I say all of that to preface explaining about this trip, or not a trip, this week, sorry. So this year, we have gone to Clarksdale, I think, since Cornerstone began, right? Except for 2 COVID years, right? But this year, things have worked out such that it just made more sense to do our work week here, which, and I don't know if we're going to keep doing that or what's going to happen in the future, but this year we're doing our week here in our own community, which I think is a really cool opportunity. It changes the way the week looks a little bit. It also opens the opportunity up to people who maybe can't travel all the way to Mississippi or give a whole week, So I'm excited about this. I want to tell you a little bit about what the week's going to look like and ask you to think about whether you're called to participate in the week with us. Okay. So actually, do you have a clicker thing here? I can just... Clicker thingy. Thank you. Jody, if I do it wrong, you can fix it, okay? Thanks. All right. So I think that... Oh, I did it wrong already. What? I'm going backwards. That's fun. There we go. I swear these looked good when I made them in PowerPoint. Anyway, so Worship Work Week is an opportunity to build community. Oh, good. That's what it says. That's nice. To build community, a very Book of Acts, right? So, community relationships are at the heart of our faith, right? They're how we draw people into the kingdom. They're how we build each other up, how we keep each other accountable, how we love one another, how we show God's love, et cetera, et cetera. And this is like such a great opportunity to build community among ourselves, also with other churches who are participating alongside us, also with other people who may not be part of any church who just are invited to participate with us. So it's just great for building community. Okay, let's see. Did I do it the right way? Yeah. All right. It's obviously an opportunity to love our neighbors. Again, those neighbors being all those people I just named, right? Our literal neighbors helping the community and also working alongside other people. It's an opportunity to give sacrificially, right, of our time, obviously, our money, because there is a cost associated, a fee associated with the week. Energy, our energy, it takes a lot of energy, y'all, a lot of energy. You will sleep well afterwards. Things like patience, right? You're giving sacrificially of that, all these kinds of things. And it's an opportunity to worship. It's so great. We get to sing together every night. That's like one of my favorite parts of the whole thing. Okay, so just some practical details about the week, because you might be wondering what exactly this looks like. So here's the schedule. The schedule looks like, I think I wrote this down so I don't have to keep looking backwards. Oh, I did. In the morning, we work together. We're going to have various projects going on that we're working on, and I'll tell you a little bit about what types of work we might be doing. But the morning we'll work together. From 12 to 1, we'll have lunch, which will be delivered to our various work sites by the people. We have people in charge of lunch, so they'll be doing, or people in charge of the cooking in general. From 1 to 4, we'll work together again, and then you get an hour off to do whatever you need to take care of: shower, change, walk the dog, whatever kinds of things you need to take care of. Or if you need to take longer than that, you're not on the clock. It'll be okay. And then from 5 to 9-ish, we'll be at Kevin's place together. So we'll be eating, fellowshipping, having fun. So we may give some shout outs. We may talk about highs and lows. We'll sing some songs. We might play some games. Not compulsory, but we'll have fun together and be together. And so the vision is that this week is very similar to the week we usually spend in Clarksdale on the Habitat trip, right? That we're having a lot. It may seem like a lot of together time to you. It is. That's intentional. The cost for the week is $200. That's to cover your food and also the materials for the projects that we're working on. I will talk more about that cost in a bit, but if you feel called to give sacrificially, I want to encourage that. But also, if you have constraints, you shouldn't let that be an obstacle to participating. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then the potential volunteer opportunities. I'll just put them all up there. Yeah, I think that's it. So there may be others, but these are a few that we know of. So you don't have to be great at using a hammer to participate, right? You could be good at helping with the cooking, or you could be good at driving a car and getting people around places, because there will probably be people who need a ride, right? And there may be other things that I'm going to try to herd all the cats here soon, so I'll figure out who all is participating and what all we have to do and put everybody in slots, and we'll get it all lined up. But these are the kinds of things you might be able to expect to be involved in. Okay, so the question I want you to ask yourself is, are you called to participate? Because not every good opportunity is your calling, right? This is a good opportunity, but calling is really important too. So we encourage you to consider and pray about how if and how you would like to be involved. Some of you may feel called to jump in with both feet, participate in everything, which would look like making the full donation of $200, dedicating your whole week Monday through Friday to working together in volunteer projects during the day, and then eating and worshiping and fellowshipping together in the evenings, which, as I've already shared, can be a huge blessing, right? Which is why we're even doing this in the first place. Blessings all around, right? Love, blessings, kingdom, it's great. But you may be serving the kingdom in other ways, or you may not feel called to this particular opportunity, or you may have constraints that will allow you to participate in parts of the week rather than committing to everything, right? Fully aware. And that's part of the beauty of having this week here, is that those kinds of people can still participate too, right? So if that's you, I want you to consider what level of participation would be right for you and communicate that to me, okay? So take some time, but not too much time, because spring break is coming soon, to consider how you would like to be involved. I can give you some examples, right? So I'm in for the whole thing. So is Harmony. We're in. And she's inviting a friend too. I think her friend is only available for 3 of the days or something like that. So she's going to come for 3 of those days. And I'm not sure yet what her so I'm not sure if she's going to give the whole 200. Harmony's giving the whole 200. But I'm not sure what her friend is doing, if she's, going to give part of that or what. We'll see what she feels led to do, right? Chris is not available during the days because there's a work thing that he can't get out of. And so he's going to be there every evening. He's going to be helping lead worship, fully invested in that part, and he's going to give the full $200. Some people may be able to like work the whole time, do the whole week, but they just don't have that full 200, only can give 100 or can't give anything or whatever. Some people may not have time to participate at all but want to donate monetarily. You get it. There's lots of permutations. So we can talk if you want to let me know how you would like to be involved. And finally, I want to point out there's a Google form. It's very exciting. So in your bulletin, there's a QR code. If you are confused and you don't know what a QR code is, don't worry. I'm also going to send this out by email with a clicky link. And if you're confused and you don't know what a clicky link is, that's okay. You can just talk to me in person, all right? But I'm just trying to have various ways of people being able to communicate. Also, you can share this or the email that I send out. You can share this with, if you think there are other people, if you have a friend you want to invite you think would be really blessed by this or really interested in this opportunity, you can share this link with them and they can fill out the form. The form just asks basically how you'd like to be involved, food preferences or allergies and that kind of stuff. It's a pretty short form, pretty painless. So that's the work week. We've been mentioning it for a few weeks now, and now you have more details. So please do consider and pray how you would like to be involved with this week. Thanks.